Hey, everybody. Welcome to the websites.ca podcast. And what we do is we help small businesses across Canada. We help them to build and maintain an effective website and an effective online presence.
Hello, Canadian website owners. We have some interesting stuff to talk to you about today. We're going to cover the Google My Business description and how it may impact your search results. We're also going to talk about when it's an appropriate time to thank somebody on your website. But first off, we're going to open with some interesting things that happened to Ryan in the last couple of weeks that would impact a site or your online presence. My name is Sean Corbett. I handle marketing for websites.ca, and we're chatting with Ryan today.
Hey, Sean.
How's it going, Ryan?
Going very well today. And yourself?
Always good. Always good.
Excellent.
So let's dive right into it. Basically, you do these annual review calls with our customers, and you always kind of uncover very interesting things. So I was hoping you could tell us about something interesting that happened in the last few weeks.
Absolutely. I'd love to. So like you led into, we do an annual review call with all of our customers. We want to reach out once a year and block off 30 minutes and just talk about the website. Talk about what's working, what's not working, what's changed about our customers' business, and also what's changed about the internet and websites in general that our customers should know about. So it's a really important, informative call that's really beneficial for both us and our customers. And one story I want to tell you about that came up in a review call last week was I was looking at a customer's website, and this customer had complained about the website not providing the same results that it did a year or two ago. Basically, they were saying, hey, we're not getting the same number of leads, same number of phone calls or emails. We're not sure if it's from the website or not. We're just, we're a little slow this time of year. What do you suggest? It's what they said to me. So I had a chance to scan through the website, and I noticed on their contact page, they didn't have a contact form set up on their contact page. So for those that don't know what a contact form is, I'm sure you've probably seen one on a website somewhere where there's a little fields that you can fill out, usually your name, your phone number, your email, and your message to get in contact with a business. So this business didn't have that set up on their site, and I suggested it to them. I said, hey, why don't we add a contact form to your site? And better yet, this specific business was a contractor. He did kitchen renovations. I said, better yet, instead of just a contact form, why don't we set this up as a free estimate form? Give your visitors some incentive to fill this form out with, dangle the carrot of the free estimate. So long story short, we implemented a contact form on his website, and I checked back about a month later, and we saw within that month he'd already generated a few leads, and one of those leads had converted into a job for this client. So it just goes to show you that the review call can find little deficiencies or little updates that could help your overall results with your website.
And probably they were, it's a super simple thing that you said, but they were probably rushing when they were setting up the site saying, we have to have XYZ on the site. And so then we said, okay, cool, we'll make sure XYZ is on the site. And everyone looked at it, everyone was happy. And we're like, why? Well, we have to have a contact form. So yeah.
Absolutely. And also contact forms weren't, like they've been around on websites for a long time, but there are, contact forms aren't just all sunshine and lollipops. There are some downsides to contact forms. So there's a lot of spam and spam bots out there like to attack contact forms and send you spam submissions, which we have some strategies to reduce those spam submissions with some anti-spam features. But that's one negative side of it is you may notice your spam submissions from the form increase when you turn a form on. But I always discuss with our customers, hey, the positives of this will usually outweigh the negatives, because if we can get leads and sales if we can get people filling out the form to generate leads and sales when they weren't before having this form, then it's worth it to sift through some, or delete some spam messages once in a while to get those extra leads and extra sales.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, it's easy to get inbox zero and it's easy to get zero spam, have no way of contacting you. But that's
Exactly.
right. It's a perfect way to also never get any leads or sales. So balance them off.
Exactly right. And one more thing I wanted to say about that, which I've mentioned to our customers, is you want to give your website visitors as many different ways to contact your business as possible, as you're as comfortable as you are receiving those contact methods as well, because you got to be able to, if you provide a phone number, you got to be able to answer the phone. If you
I
provide
was going to point that out. Yeah, that's the other common sense one, right? They'll say, "Yeah, cool. Let's put a contact form and email," and then you say, "How often do you check your email?" Like once a week. Well,
right.
now you're upsetting potential customers. So yeah,
Exactly. So you want to open the net as wide as possible. So what I mean is, what I usually recommend to my customers is, hey, make sure to have your phone number on there, of course, as long as you or have a phone that you pick up during office hours. Get an email address on there as long as you check your email, but also put a contact form on there. It gives people the ability to contact you uh, on a contact form. And I've had some negative feedback from customers saying, well, I've never filled out a contact form before. I don't want it on my site. And I say, hey, you know what? You're right. You're like the majority of people that would probably maybe pick up the phone before filling out a form. But there's a lot of different people types out there. There's some people that would pick up the phone first before writing an email. And there are a lot of people that would write an email or write something out first before picking up the phone. And that's what this contact form does, is it gives people a low pressure way of getting in touch with you without having to pick up the phone or write an email with a subject line and, hey, this is Jim and I'm looking for product A, B, or C.
for sure. And you also had a great point earlier too about dangling a carrot in front of people. So, you could even include a little field on your form that says add me to your newsletter, especially if you're offering something that's interesting. And of course, you send out an email newsletter, so it's worth your while. But yeah, it doesn't just have to be contact us. You can build an offer around filling out the form that, like Ryan mentioned, is super, super low impact and easy for them to say yes to.
Love it. And I'm a big fan of the website holding a visitor's hand through your own sales process, whatever that may be. And sometimes the dangling carrot is a perfect way to get people into that next step in your sales process.
Perfect. So switching it up here, Google My Business. Basically, this is something that websites.ca helps with.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, our customers can go in and manage it themselves. It's super robust now, so you can update posts and you can add photos and all that kind of fun stuff. And as you know, Ryan, it's super important for a local business to have that presence for local searches. And Google likes it, obviously. But there was some contention in the last couple of weeks. I don't know if you heard about this. People were trying to figure out if the words in the description of their Google My Business listing had any impact on their search results. And it turns out, and Google confirmed this now, I think just in the last week, that it actually has no impact on your search results. So what that means, I just wanted to point this out to everybody. What that means is that you don't have to worry too much about very specific keywords in there. Okay, because it's not going to make you come up any higher if you put the keyword you're going after into your Google My Business listing. However, it's still worthwhile writing a robust description of what you actually do, because it helps with searchability overall, right? So it's just like with the contact form thing. If you have no contact form, you cannot be contacted. If you have no Google My Business listing, then no one. It's going to be a lot harder to find you, especially on Google Maps. So if you put it, if you put in the logical words that describe your business and how you help people, it helps with searchability. But it's not like you're angling to come up higher. And I wonder if you had any feedback or questions from customers in the last week about the business listing.
Yeah, really good information, Sean. And I did hear about this a little bit, but I didn't get the answer. And I'm glad you provided the answer here in the podcast, because and I'm also glad that you clarified that, okay, this Google Business Listing description isn't like putting your keywords in there isn't just going to bump your website's exposure, bump up your ranking on the search engines. But that doesn't mean that you should just ignore it and leave it blank, because having content there that relates to your products or services is always going to be better than just leaving an area blank because you think it's not going to do anything for you. So that's a really good clarification point. Yeah, on the Google My Business front, I don't think I have anything else to add on that.
Okay, no, very cool. Yeah, so I mean, we could wrap that point up by basically just saying that you're doing things like Google My Business, and actually so many things online, not to be tactical, but to be comprehensive, to cover your bases and to accommodate different types of people who search, think, act, and have questions in different manners. So that's the better way to look at it, right? That's the helpful way to look at it, rather than what little tweak can I do to come up higher on Google. You end up chasing your tail a little bit, and I think it usually ends up just being ineffective as well.
Agreed, completely agree. I guess one thing I could add to the Google business conversation that I like to bring up to our current customers is trying to generate those positive Google reviews on your Google business listing. What we have seen is that Google business reviews can have a positive effect on your ranking, not for your website, but for your Google business listing within the Maps system. So Maps likes to show businesses that are well reviewed. So if you have some positive Google reviews, it can help you to show up in the Maps over your potential competitors. So that's an area of Google business that I like to push with our customers, is to try and generate those positive Google reviews.
Correct. Yeah, the Maps pack is affected by how many reviews you have, among other things. So again,
Exactly.
if you have 100 good reviews, but somebody else beats you out in all the other factors, then again, it's not, it has to balance out. But that's kind of a double dip, because it helps you on the Maps ranking, and it also just looks great for so many types of customers who tend to go to Google first when they're weighing using a new company.
Exactly.
Awesome. So, with that in mind, Ryan, I was going to ask you maybe a bit of a contentious or negative sounding question, but
Mm-hmm.
you hear a lot of things, a lot of myths, a lot of strange notions that come up frequently when you're talking to people. I wondered if you have anything you want to get off your chest today, or some myth you'd like to dispel about the online world.
Sure. And it's not necessarily a myth, but it's definitely something that we've been hearing a lot of, and not just recently, but for the past maybe 5 or close to 10 years. And that is the Domain Registry of Canada likes to send letters to small business or really domain name owners in Canada, telling you that, hey, your domain is going to expire.
Okay.
You need to take action today to make sure your domain doesn't expire.
Now, just to clarify, Ryan, this is
Yes.
they're finding out the date that your domain is supposed to renew, and whether or not you're with them. They're messaging you a couple weeks or months before that. Is that what's going on?
It's exactly what's going on. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
people often describe it as a scam, but again, as we talked about in our last episode, it's not actually a scam. They are providing the service that they say they provide. They're just going about it in a very
It's very disingenuous. Yeah.
disingenuous way by sending you a notice that sort of looks like an invoice and says, you got to renew your domain. Your domain is going to expire. So how this relates to websites.ca is, as part of our website service, we include domain name registration, and it's built into your service. We automatically renew your domain for you. But even if your domain is managed by us, our customers will still get these notices in the mail saying, hey, your domain's going to expire. So it's a common conversation we have about telling our customers, hey, that's just a solicitation. They're trying to get you to move your domain name over to them. So as a little PSA here, in this week's podcast, that's something I'd like to tell our listeners to watch out for. If you receive a domain name expiration notice from a company that you've never heard of before, chances are it's just a solicitation. They're just trying to get your business. Don't just throw something away, because I don't want people that actually get a legitimate notice from their actual domain provider to forget to not do that and let their domain expire. But if it seems fishy or you've never heard of the company before, chances are they're just trying to solicit your business.
Perfect. Yeah. And to further clarify, most times when you set up a domain, it's on auto renewal. So the only reason why you'd get such a notice is if, let's say, your credit card expired or a payment bounced or something like that, right? They couldn't charge your card, it was declined. Although there are a lot of registrars out there that do let you buy for a certain period of time, right? You can do like 1 month, 1 year, 3 years, that kind of thing. So
Right.
if you've chosen that when you originally set it up, then yeah, you could get a legitimate notice from your domain registrar.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Well, I had one I wanted to get off my chest,
Yeah.
and it actually popped up again this past weekend. So the past weekend was Family Day, And
Yep.
I guess for you in Winnipeg, it was
Louis Riel Day
Real
for
Day. Yeah.
Manitoba.
So most of Canada had Monday off, and before the long weekend came up, we got a lot of requests to our support team. Just trying to get in last minute requests before the long weekend, but also trying to update holiday hours. Excuse me.
Mhm.
So what I noticed is that a lot of these requests that came in, they wanted some kind of notice, pop up, something in the header, all that kind of stuff, like a really prominent position on their website. And none of them started their message with their holiday hours. They all started their message with "Thank you for visiting our website," or "Thank you for viewing," or "Thank you for something else." And while I get that people are trying to be polite, we've seen this for many years, right? I'm sure you can attest to this, that opening your website with a headline or a notice or something that says "Thanks for visiting." I always like to say it's like paying for a billboard in Times Square and then opening the billboard with "Thanks for looking at my billboard." Um, People on the web have very short attention spans. Okay, so they usually read the first couple words of what you're writing. If they don't see anything of interest, they kind of just scan away and miss the rest of your message. So we always like to recommend people. And again, if a customer wants us to put "Thank you for," of course we're going to put it, right? We'll do the update they want. But we just want to suggest to people, always open with the most important and impactful part of your message. Okay. You can always thank people at the end of the message or even at the end of the transaction. I would wait until someone called you and you addressed their problems. You asked them what their pains were. You said how you could help and then thank them. Don't open by thanking them.
Hmm. I completely agree with that, Sean. And you're right. It's all about attention spans. And in the online world, the attention span of users is so short. When they're looking at your information, you want to get that nugget of information to them as quickly as possible. And as you say, add the thank you at the end. Put the holiday hours first. Family day, we're closed. Check back on Tuesday. Thanks for checking out the website. If you want to put that on there, put it secondary.
Yeah. Or
Put your
thanks for your interest. Thanks for your patronage, whatever. Yeah.
exactly. Love it.
Awesome. Okay, so I mean, I guess we can wrap this up. If you have anything else to add, Rye, like a common question that you've been asked by the support staff, or maybe some of the prospects you've been talking to over the phone in the last couple of days.
Yeah, good question. Let's see here. What can I? There's a lot of unique questions that come up. One of the things that I love about the work that we do here is we don't specialize in one specific industry. We work with every small business industry you can imagine, from electricians to hair salons, from muffler shops to oil field industries in Alberta, and kind of everything in between. And what I find that's really interesting about our approach is regardless of what type of business you have, your website, generally speaking, for a small business market, should have a lot of the same elements. And yes, you want to cater your message to your market, of course, whether that's Joe homeowner, or if you're a B2B business selling to other businesses, you want to cater your message. But overall, the websites generally have a similar flow and feel to them, regardless of who you're selling to. And that's just something that came to mind here when we were thinking about this topic.
Yeah, and I mean that's again to clarify, we're talking about standards as opposed
Mm,
to copying people or saying content is necessary. So I'm sure you've seen this a lot. If we deal with somebody in a popular industry, like say real estate or dental office or something like that, they will have, and this is actually great. It's a great service in the market. There are companies that specialize just in those industries, right? So they just make websites for those industries, and
hmm
that's great because they know the common problems. And like Ryan, like you just said, there's standards. If somebody says to us, well, let's put the logo on the bottom right instead of the top left. It's kind of like, people expect it in the top left. They're going to think it's broken. You're going to make yourself seem silly and unprofessional right off the hop. So in that case, creativity is not a great idea, right?
hmm
And that's where we come in by saying we've done thousands of sites. We have, this is roughly what people expect when they go online.
Exactly.
But where that breaks down is when someone thinks they must put a page or they must put a piece of content because everyone else in their industry has it. And then they just do a piece of fluff content or a page that's empty or a page that has one sentence on it.
That's right.
So that's the flip
Absolutely.
side.
And that's the flip side, and that can almost be worse than having nothing at all. A common strategy that I like to use with our customers when it comes to adding new pages to the site is, in 2020, I'd say it's very less common to see a website that has under construction or coming soon. So
Yes.
that's a common recommendation I make is, hey, instead of us putting this under construction or coming soon page up there, let's hold up until we have the page ready for public viewing. Because as a user of the internet, when I click on a page on your website, I expect there to be something there, right? I expect you to have your gallery filled with photos, or your About Us page with your company history. And if I click on it and it says coming soon, it's a little bit of a letdown, right? Because when I'm on your site, I'm expecting everything to be there. So piece of advice I always give to our clients is, if you don't have the page information ready, let's not put it publicly up there on the website. Let's hold off, and we can keep it as a hidden page behind the scenes until the web page is ready to launch.
Yep. And an extension of that is, if you only have 1 or 2 sentences for that page, it probably doesn't need its own page.
Exactly.
Yep. Okay, that's about it for today. Thank you for listening. Before we go, I just want to say, if you have a website that you're currently not completely happy with, if you're not happy with the way that your provider gives you service or does updates for you, or the pricing that you're getting for the service that you're receiving, or the results, then maybe websites.ca can help. We have a promotion that you can switch over to our service at no charge at all. So we will reset up your website on our end to help you out. And then you can talk to us about ongoing hosting and support and all that kind of thing. Likewise, if you want to get a new website going, we can set up a 1-page website for you for free, no setup charge again. So just get in touch with us by visiting business.websites.ca, or you can email Ryan directly at ryan@websites.ca. That's RYAN@websites.ca. Awesome, Ryan. Thanks for your time. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for listening, guys. Catch you next time.